2018 started with a bang on the 5-year anniversary of Cyberpunk 2077's first teaser trailer, which that would be January 10th. Cyberpunk 2077's Twitter account came live for the first time in years, and the one-word tweet beep was a clear sign that CD Projekt Red is nearing a point where they are ready to share information finally on their highly anticipated next RPG. Since then, I was contacted by a Sony employee that claimed they received an early playable tech demo of the game recently. Furthermore, one of Poland's largest gaming websites put out a report only days later, which claimed that two sources were saying a fully playable demo was to be shown behind closed doors at E3 2018 to the media, and additionally, a new trailer is to be shown during either Sony or Microsoft's conference. But now, about a month later, more details and hints are emerging. The first of which is on the E3 website. It has now been listed that CD Projekt Red will be attending the event. While this is not 100% confirmation of Cyberpunk 2077 appearing, the evidence is starting to stack up. And as stated back in May of 2017 by CD Projekt's joint CEO, Marcin Nowinski, the promotional campaign for Cyberpunk 2077 is already planned. Its main element is the surprise, so I cannot even say when it will begin, simply because it has to come off as a surprise. So obviously news and hints of Cyberpunk 2077's marketing plans make sense, as it seems everything is already set in place. Now the news does not stop there, because recently Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the pen and paper game, was interviewed by European telecommunication company Vodafone. This interview was a part of their Future is One series, which discusses the future of technology. The video is titled Cyberpunk 2077, the most anticipated video game ever closer. And this interview was heavily dubbed over in Spanish, but thanks to the Mad Queen show, who notified me about this, she helped translate some of it. Also, I highly recommend you guys check the Mad Queen's channel out, as she is one of the best sources for Cyberpunk content. Link as always will be in the description down below. Now the interview starts off with Mike Pondsmith discussing what Cyberpunk 2077 is, in which he says, Cyberpunk focuses basically on how the street and ordinary people uses technology to fight against those who rule, that is, the mega corporations and the people with the power, those at the top. Technology is the tool. The technology lets you do things that puts it on the same level as those who have power. What that means is that things that were only accessible to the powerful, now they are accessible thanks to technology, to people who are not that 1%. He would next briefly discuss that he tried making a Cyberpunk game years ago, but the technology was not right, and essentially, there were too many limitations, the game would have cost too much to make, and Mike Pondsmith ultimately wanted a game studio that shared his same vision. Then he gets into details on the next trailer, saying, you will see how much death there is. Throughout the entire trailer, there are things in the windows, reflections, things in the newspapers, scattered under broken bodies, things like that. These are things that you can't totally explain in a conventional video game, because they come from the imagination of the game director. This interview would then be wrapped up with Mike Pondsmith stating that some of the forecasts that the game puts on the table for the future, such as environmental disasters caused by climate change, large companies that monopolize the economy, or the arrival of artificial intelligence that can replace humans, can become a reality sooner than we think. Essentially, the game is going to explore a lot of possibilities that may be in our real future. Obviously, the biggest takeaway from this interview is the details on the upcoming trailer. It's important to note that Mike Pondsmith is not at CD Projekt Red all the time, and is not necessarily following the day-to-day development and operations, as he stated in an interview back in July of 2017.
How has it been like working with CD Projekt Red in terms of logistics, traveling back and forth, and how are you working on this Cyberpunk video game?
What's interesting is it actually goes both ways. I go over to Poland at least like 2 to 3, sometimes 4 times a year. We used to, in the early days when we were starting, have like weekly and sometimes multiple weekly long-distance Skype conversations with the whole team, and we'd all be looking at bad cameras early in the morning and talking. And then they, in turn, members of the team come out, and we meet with them out in Seattle as well.
So what this tells me is that this next trailer is finished already, and sometime recently CD Projekt Red presented it to Mike Pondsmith. It seems, like the first teaser trailer, death is going to be the major theme that is emphasized and explored, but in this case, maybe we're going to witness even more of it. Either way, again, things seem to be progressing smoothly, and everything is pointing at a big reveal at E3 2018, showing off the game for the first time in 5 years. And even then, we didn't really get a real look at Cyberpunk 2077. Now, in some other recent news that I at least want to mention, another job position has popped up for Cyberpunk 2077, and this time it's for lighting artists. And among the responsibilities, it's listed photorealistic rendering. Thus far, we've heard about other positions, including details on destructible environments and physics-based effects. So what this really says to me is that CD Projekt Red is doing their best to make this experience as realistic and beautiful as possible. Anyway guys, it's again great to see movement on this game, and it really does seem we're only months away from finally seeing what CD Projekt Red has been working on for the last 5+ years. But thank you for watching, and I want to know what you guys think about Mike Pondsmith's description of the next trailer. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, make sure to like the video if you did enjoy or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.